Okay, today's video is Carbmaxxing and nutrient partitioning. Right, so most people completely misunderstand carbs. In the gym, some people think that you need to cut them out because they make you fat, or just cut them really low. And other people eat like a ton of carbs without thinking about how their body actually uses them. So what most people don't realize is that carbs can pretty dramatically affect your strength performance and even where calories get stored in your body. So in this video, I'm going to explain how to maximize carbohydrates for gym performance. And then also, like I said, nutrient partitioning will also be a subtopic of this video. And what nutrient partitioning is, like really short terms, is it's basically like determining where or like whether the calories go to muscle tissue, muscle building, or fat. So the first section is why carbs matter for training. Carbs matter. Whatever. Okay, so when you eat carbohydrates, your body stores them as glycogen in your muscles. And what glycogen is, glycogen is basically like your muscles' fuel source during intense training, like pretty hard training, right? So when your glycogen stores are full, you can usually train like quite a bit harder, lift heavier, and get like a better pump. Which, why would you not want all three of those, right? So they matter because of this word right here, how do you spell the G? Glycogen. This is why carbs matter. Glycogen, very important. Okay, so I'm gonna try to draw it. So let's say this is a guy's arm, and here's his muscle. I gotta make that bigger to draw this. So here's his arm, here's the muscle. We'll say this is like a bicep, okay? Right, so like this glycogen, I'm gonna have glycogen just be G for the rest of this video. So glycogen, G. So your glycogen equals training, T for training, training fuel. So glycogen equals training fuel. So then we're gonna have like carbs, right? Carbs turn into glycogen, which turns into energy for training. Right? So why would you not want adequate energy to train, you know? So like when people, like what happens when carbs are too low? So when carbs are too low, your glycogen stores, they dip down, they drop. So this leads to the opposite effect. You have lower energy levels, worse performance, and oftentimes like a bad pump. Not that that really does anything for muscle growth, but looks pretty cool, and I want to look cool, so I'm gonna keep eating my carbs. So we're gonna have, let's have whatever, two stick figures over here. I'm gonna have 1 and 2. Pretend these are pretty much the same, okay? I'm gonna be close at least. 1 and 2. Alright, so this guy's gonna be our low carb, and then this guy, this could be our high carb. Right, so you know what, they're not the same because these are two different things. This guy, he's going to stay small. This guy, because he has high carb, he's going to get, these are muscles, okay? He's gonna get some traps. He's gonna get a six-pack. You know, he's gonna have everything. So this guy, he's gonna, because of high carb, he's gonna have big weight. You know, big weights. He's gonna be lifting. This guy obviously will have the opposite. No muscle, nothing, because he doesn't understand how carbs work. This guy's gonna be jacked. He's gonna be big. He's gonna be strong. So now, pretty important topic is carb timing. Carb timing. Right, carb timing. So, a good way to maximize your carbs is by timing them around your workouts. You know, so you want to eat carbs before to increase the glycogen availability, and then that provides energy for your session, right? So these are like pre-workout carbs. At least what I do is have fast digesting ones about an hour before, and I have about 100 grams before my workout. Right, so I'll draw like a little timeline, okay? We're gonna have this is like your pre-workout carbs, right? And then whatever you want, 100 grams, or you could do a little less. I do 100 grams though. And then that leads to your training right here, right? So you're going to use those 100 grams directly in your training, right? They're going to fuel your training. And then after, you know, you eat more carbs, right, and that leads to muscle recovery. Pretend that says recovery. So now we have, or like the next part of this video is going to be, we're just going to write it as NP for nutrient partitioning. Okay, nutrient partitioning is where things start to get interesting. Right, so basically, nutrient partitioning is where your calories go after you eat them. Right, so your body's either going to send them to muscle tissue, which is what we want, glycogen storage, another thing we want, or fat storage. No, we don't want fat storage. Right, so things like training, muscle mass, insulin sensitivity, and calorie balance can all influence where those nutrients are going to end up, right? So we're going to have, let's do like a little, one goes here, one goes here, one goes here. So we're going to have M for muscle, G for glycogen, right, and then F for fat. We do not want fat, right? We want all our carbs to go to these two things and mostly this thing, right? But we do need to keep our glycogen stores full. That's basically what nutrient partitioning is. So it's really helpful because, you know, you're sending nutrients where you want them, and it'll like make it better, right? So training can improve nutrient partitioning, right? Like when you train hard, your muscles are going to become more sensitive to insulin, and they are like better able to absorb glucose and amino acids, right? So this means the more nutrients that you have while it's like insulin sensitivity is raised, you're going to go towards muscle recovery, which means muscle growth basically, glycogen replenishment, which is what you need for your next workout, right? And then that's instead of fat storage. So you're going to have your training, which goes to muscle demand, right? And then we're going to loop back around which goes to nutrients pulled into muscle. Nutrients pulled into muscle. These are very scientific terms, as you can tell. Now let me make this a little bigger so I have more room. Okay, so like some practical advice. If your goal is going to be to maximize, maximizing carbs in the game, that's the goal. Right, so there's a few simple things that can help. So you need to eat enough carbs. Eat enough. Right, you want to prioritize most of your carbs before and after your workouts, right, to improve the nutrient partitioning that I was talking about, right? So, yeah, so you need to eat enough carbs, right? That's the main takeaway. Just eat your carbs before and after. So, like what I do, just my example. I have 100 grams whatever. Then I work out. Then I have like another 100 to 150 along with my protein, because I want protein to go into my muscle, right? You need protein. And then that's also when I take my supplements in the day, because my body is better able to absorb those nutrients. It's not going to be a ton, right? It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to take all the extra percentages that I can, right? So this is the end of the video, right? So carbs are not the enemy, like some people say. In the context of hard training, they're really one of the most useful tools you can have for performance and recovery. So thank you for watching. I hope I explained this well enough. If I didn't, let me know and I will redo it with